Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of College Town Talk. I'm Jonathan Frank.
And I'm Shan Stout.
Shan, it's been a while since we've been in the recording booth.
I know, Jonathan. I was starting to think that Doge just come for our little podcast.
Well, it's been a busy time for both of us, but you and your team just celebrated the ribbon cutting for the new Putnam County Convention Center, which is such an exciting addition to the community.
Oh, we've hit the ground running. It's a beautiful facility. Stop by on Tennessee Avenue. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you'll love it. But speaking of exciting additions to the community, today we're talking with the owner of one of Cookeville's most beloved and enduring local businesses.
That's right. I am so excited about this, Shan. I have been blowing up his email inbox for a while now, trying to find a time to make this work. He's been busy, but we're talking to Jeremy Crabtree. He's the owner of Poets Coffee, which just opened a new location in the Volpe Library on Tennessee Tech's campus, and it's fitting because he's also a Tennessee Tech alumnus.
Well, I can't wait to catch up with him. Then we're talking with Kimberly Winkle, the director of Tennessee Tech School of Art, Craft, and Design, and director of the Appalachian Center for Craft in Smithville. She is also one of the local artists profiled in the latest issue of Cookeville Lifestyle Magazine, which is on newsstands across town now.
Well, I'm just going to let you take over that conversation, Shan, because you're an artist too. Some of our listeners may not know that you are an award-winning children's book illustrator, and I do not have an artistic bone in my body.
Now, Jonathan, everyone's an artist in their own way.
I think my way would be called unintentionally abstract or stick figure minimalist.
I can work with that. And in the meantime, we'll get right to today's guest. Up first, it's our interview with Tennessee Tech alumnus and the owner of Poets Coffee, Jeremy Crabtree. Welcome back to College Town Talk. Our next guest is the owner of Cookeville's unofficial living room and one of its most enduring and beloved local businesses. Of course, we're talking about Jeremy Crabtree, the owner of Poets Coffee, which just celebrated its 30th anniversary and just opened its newest location inside of Volpe Library on Tennessee Tech's campus. What an amazing location. Now, in addition to protecting the legacy of Cookeville's longest running local coffee shop, Jeremy is also a 2005 Tech graduate who worked at Poets during his days as a student, and he is the owner of Tennessee Outfitters and Good Southerner Stickers. Jeremy, welcome to College Town Talk. We appreciate you taking time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to share a little bit about what I do and the excitement around Tennessee Tech and Poets being there. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so you're leading me into my next question because I want to ask you all about the new Coffee location on Tech's campus. But first, can you give us a quick history lesson? Because Poets Coffee was truly a pioneer in Cookeville's local business scene. It's been part of this community for more than a generation and has seen us through a lot of changes and gotten us through a lot of anxious days when we really needed a great cup of coffee and
Yeah.
something wonderful for breakfast or an afternoon snack. Tell us more about that and what you see as the significance of Poets Coffee in the story of Cookeville.
Mm. Yeah, so I'm going on April 1st will be 11 years that I've owned it. So I'm the longest standing owner. I'm actually the sixth owner of Poets. So yes, like you said, it's been around for 30 years. And like you said, in college, I did work there. And it's funny enough, my sister and brother-in-law, Ted and Terry McWilliams, actually owned it back then. So they took a risk and hired her brother to work there. Some good times and some hard times, but yes. And so I worked there in college, and then went to the nonprofit world after college for about 8 years, and then after that was living in Texas and was like, what are we going to do next? And Ted, my brother-in-law, called me and said, "Hey, I know you're looking to move back. Poets Coffee is for sale. Would you ever be interested?" And I'd never really thought about it, and I was like, yeah, maybe. So we flew back and visited with the current owners and did all that stuff, and decided to take a jump. And, we had 2 kids at the time, so it was a little bit of a risk, but I was like, oh, hey, let's try it. So that's kind of how we came to own Poets Coffee. But yeah, the significance of it is, yeah, like for 30 years is pretty wild. I mean, coffee shops were just barely a thing 30 years ago. And so, I think that's where it got its original name, Poets, because that was in that era of kind of coffee shops or writers and authors and things like that. And funny enough, one of the earliest names was Poets on the Square, the premier coffee house of the Upper Cumberland. So at some point that got shortened a little bit. I think it was trying to explain what a coffee shop was at the time. And so up until I owned it was Poets on the Square. But yeah, just the significance of even when I was there, obviously college students hung out there, high school kids would hang out there because they were open a lot later. Businessmen would be having meetings, even just owning it as long as I have. Pretty regularly, I'll get emails. I had my first date there. That's where I got my first job interview. We've actually even had a wedding in the back room at Poets because a couple had met there and they wanted to do their wedding, and I was like, sure, So we've been a wedding venue, and so yeah, constant stories, especially people that have lived here that whole time of kind of growing up with Poets as we've evolved over time. And so yeah, I mean, I just think it's one of those places that has become almost like the Ralphs and the Cream City, not quite as old, but just kind of established long enough where people just know it and have loved it and grown up with it and seen it changed over the years. And hopefully all that has been for the better. But yeah, we used to call it kind of Cookeville's living room, and a big part of the community.
So I'm really curious, and it speaks to me when you say that people had all these first at Poets, because I met PBS, WCTE for the first time officially at Poets, because they're like, let's go across the street, let's have a cup of coffee, let's
Yeah.
talk about it. And that's how I got my first television role.
Hmm.
And so it was a meeting at Poets. So that was a first for me as well. So
Yeah.
it's a very sentimental place for me. And it was a big opportunity. I mean, 2 decades ago, I'm really old,
Right.
Jeremy. And, but I'm curious, the original you, college you working at Poets, how would you feel if you went back in time and that Jeremy found out, if someone told you then you're going to be the future owner of this place, how would you feel? Because that has to be very nostalgic for you to look back.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I don't know what percentage, 90% of college kids, I had no idea what I was going to do. I graduated with a biology degree in wildlife and fishery science. I was interested in that stuff, but had no idea. And so, yeah, it is like, sometimes I even think I take it for granted, but just the fun and the excitement of having such a staple in the Cookeville community. And, we've never really even had to advertise because people just know Poets. And, it's funny, early on, the radio station tried to get us to do some advertising with them. And I didn't have money for advertising and stuff back then. But I remember listening to the radio station to see, does that fit us? And a new business had opened on the square, and their ad was located just right down the street from Poets Coffee. And I'm like, I don't need to pay for advertising.
Winner, chicken dinner,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
people just know it. And so, I think there's it's really fun, but I also feel the importance of keeping it going and keeping it a place that's welcoming to everyone and to families and businessmen and college kids. And that our culture, we work really hard to have kind of even with our employees, to have a laid back, like when we're hiring, we're like, hey, we want you to work hard, but we want a laid back environment. We're not going to think we are God's gift of coffee. That's not what we're here for. We're here to serve and to have, give people a place to enjoy coffee and enjoy community and be with friends and things like that. And so, yeah, it's there's I feel like there's a lot of importance that goes with trying to keep that true to Cookeville, and to continue to all the memories that have been made, to make sure that I'm helping people create new memories every day when they kind of walk in and experience what's going on in there. So
Jeremy, I think that's something that you guys are doing well. And I mean, I was class of 2012 at Tech. I have so many memories from being a student at Poets, going to, I heard Jake Hoot perform there before he was ever on The Voice, and people like Caleb Buckner and Corey Wheeler that would do these kind of evening coffee house performances there. And I'm enrolled in some classes again now, and I will go and work on homework there on Sundays because you all are open Sundays, which I appreciate. And
Mhm.
it's just like this wave of nostalgia sometimes. I mean, it smells the same, like little things are just the exact same as I remember it, even though it is, you've improved and enhanced the
Right.
space over time. You talked a little bit about this, but can you go back to just the decision to take this on? Because I'm wondering if if that was a hard decision, if it felt at all daunting, because it is a big legacy. It's kind of bigger than any one person. You had mentioned you were out of state, I think, working with Young Life, which is
Mhm.
a lot of people will be familiar with that,
Right.
a really great organization. And then you come back here to take this on. Tell us about the thought process behind that decision.
Um, Possible I didn't think about it enough, but yeah, I think because we'd had two kids and we wanted to move back. My wife's from Memphis and I'm from Overton County, and we wanted to obviously get back, like most people want to get back to closer to family, and with having two kids at the time. And so we started looking for what I would do. And the interesting thing about Young Life is the way that it's set up. In a lot of ways, you kind of are your own business owner because you run an area and you've got to raise money and you have to, have a committee and managing leaders. And so you're doing a lot of things that kind of, run parallel with what you would do with the business. And so when the opportunity presented itself, we talked about it and prayed about it and did all the things that you would do to try to best think, is this a good fit? And most of the things that I was trying to chase after um, kind of fell through. And so my options were getting, fewer and fewer. Also in college, one summer, a couple summers, was a rafting guide on the Ocoee. And so we even considered buying a rafting company that was for sale. And so me and my wife flew in, and she was like, there's no way I'm going to live in Ocoee, Tennessee. This is not even, no, and so it was a little too small for her. And so I think after that, because I've done Young Life for so long, I felt like I do want to be my own boss. Like if that's not an option, then obviously I'll do whatever it takes to pay the bills. But I would love to be able to do that. So I was kind of looking at things that may be a possibility. And then the opportunity for Poets came along with my brother-in-law, Ted, calling me. And so, it wasn't a super hard decision. I mean, I feel like being a nonprofit, I was used to not making a lot of money. So I knew I could survive a little while off what we'd saved up and what we had. And so, it was a risk. We weren't able to get a business loan because I couldn't prove that, I could pay it back with not having a job. And so we had to talk the owners into owner financing for us for a few years until we could establish, that we could pay that back. And they were gracious enough to do that with us. And so, yeah, so when that piece fell in place and they were willing to do that, it was just like, it didn't seem like that hard of a decision after that. It was just like, why wouldn't I just take a risk and do this and try it out? And if it doesn't work, I can always drive a truck for UPS. There's something else that I can definitely do in between what I would figure out. So yeah, and so my wife was always from a big city, so we had come back to Cookeville to visit, but that was holidays and stuff. So her original thought was like, yeah, I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to live somewhere without a Target. That was that was her thinking. But as we came and visited more, I mean, she fell in love with Cookeville, and I mean, she would not move ever. She loves Cookeville. And so, when those pieces started falling in place, it just felt like a no-brainer.
Well, obviously, it had a happy ending. I call that the fate funnel, Jeremy,
Mhm.
where you have all these closed doors, these closed
Mhm.
opportunities. The doors keep slamming and slamming and slamming. But then there's that one open door that is just
Mhm.
effortless and easy, and you walk through it, and then you just the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
And so those doors closing on you are a good thing. It's you think at first it's bad, bad,
Oh,
bad,
oh, yeah.
because nothing's working out, but those are safety nets for you. You want those doors to close because
Right.
that's not your path. And obviously you just fell right back to where you should be. And we're grateful that you're here. Speaking of being here, we want to talk about what people have been waiting for, the brand new Poets location at the Volpe Library on Tennessee Tech's campus. Now, you've been open for a little over a month now, and as we are literally recording this episode, there's actually a grand opening event planned for tomorrow. Now, for our listeners, depending on when you hear this episode, that is Wednesday, March 12th. So, talk to us about the new location, maybe the vibe of that location. Does it feel like the old Poets? I mean,
Mhm.
what does it mean to you as a tech alum to have this opportunity?
Yes. As Poets has expanded over the years, I've always wanted to, I love the opportunity of partnering. We almost partnered um, with Averett a few years ago, but that ended up not being a great fit. And so I always liked the idea, but to me, tech was never really, and I'm like, how do you even go about doing that? Because it's Chartwells and tech, and who would I even talk to about that? And so yeah, I always loved the idea of doing something like that. And then, we have pretty close relationships to coffee shops and stuff in Nashville, and kind of seeing the airport in Nashville kind of take on that, like, hey, let's do local. And, that becomes like, God, that's such a neat idea to bring in local businesses and commercial settings like that. But then, I think it was April, Chartwells reached out and was like, hey, Tech's interested in maybe doing local. Would this be something you would be interested in doing? And it was caught me out of nowhere. And obviously immediately you get that email, you're like, is this for real? Like, this could be awesome. And it's funny, we took a tour that same week, this was back in April or May, somewhere in there. And a lot of we had customers that work at Tech saw me and Lauren kind of touring, and the rumors already started flying. Like, oh my gosh, Post is coming to Tech. And I'm like, well, we don't. We just stepped foot on campus. And so it was a long process of figuring that out. Because we decided to do the subcontract model, which Tech's never done, and Charlo's never done here. So there was a lot of them learning how to do that, and us learning how to do that, because I wanted to kind of manage and run it myself and keep that the Poets that people know in Cookeville. I wanted to be able to control that and operate that. And so that's how it all happened. And then in October it officially got signed, and we were ready to go and started the renovation December 1st. But so yeah, it is so fun, like, to be on Tech's campus, and just the fun of college students and excitement, and they're young and all these big hopes and dreams. And it's just kind of fun to be in that setting. And we brought in for this location, we've owned it almost 11 years. So for this location, we brought in one of our good friends, Tatum Hill Interiors here in Cookeville, and she kind of helped us reimagine what the look and aesthetics of Poets could be. And so it actually has it's very similar, but it has updated and a new look and vibe to what we currently have. And so we've changed that with that. But with the 10 years, we've decided, hey, we've done this for 10 years. What's the next 10 years look like? So we're kind of actually taking that new look and we actually start remodeling Poet South next week. And so we're kind of keeping that same traditional look, but updating it with, taking down the barnwood and updating with kind of different wood elements, and still going with the black and white, but more modern black and white. And I'm kind of, shifting some of those things and things like that to kind of freshen up. And so it kind of was a catalyst to, like, hey, let's rethink the whole brand for the next 10 years and kind of, they'll be different, but very similar. And so, so the feel is very different, but still very communal and fun. And,
Well, as long as it smells the same, Jonathan won't cry.
same
So
coffee,
we'll be
same
okay.
coffee. You'll have the exact same smell. Yes. So yeah, that it has been beyond. We were not prepared for the response that we were going to get. It was supposed to be a soft opening. Obviously, that quickly turned into a very hard opening. But it has the response has been incredible. I mean, we're trying to hire people fast enough to kind of help, keep the momentum going and not lag too much with just how popular and how busy we've been. And then this was on the front end, but tech's really pushing us to kind of, we're open till 4:30, but we'll hopefully right after spring break, maybe a little later, we're going to be pushing that till 8 o'clock for folks that are studying at night and need something to do and a place to get coffee. And, I don't drink coffee at night, but college kids do.
You may need to start with hours like that, Jeremy.
It's a great space. You all did a great job with it, and there's so much excitement about it. You may not even know this, Jeremy, but they had the university had its quarterly Board of Trustees meeting on Thursday, March 6th, and the student trustee, Claire Myers, always gives a report to the trustees, and she actually talked about the Poets opening in her student trustee report. So she doesn't have a whole lot of time in that report, but it rose to the level of something that merited a mention in that report.
Awesome.
Now, I want to ask you, since your days just weren't busy enough, you also are the owner of Tennessee Outfitters, and our listeners can't see, but you're wearing one of your hats right now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I want to ask you about your other business venture, Good Southerner. And if people don't recognize that name, they have seen your stickers, I'm sure, all over town on laptops and water bottles and cars. I know you sell the stickers at Poets Coffee. You all have put some of the most quintessential Southern sayings on these stickers, and they're flying off the shelves. So some of the phrases you can find on a Good Southerner sticker include, hush your mouth, quit being ugly. My mom used to say that to me when we were little. Y'all ain't right, mind your own biscuits, and you're crazy is showing. I can think of a couple people I need to buy that sticker for. So how did the idea for this business come about? How do you all think of sayings to put to print on these stickers? Talk to us about that business.
That is just a funny idea that became a legit business. It's one of those unicorns that it just hits just right. And so kind of the ideas of Tennessee Outfitters and Good Southerner came from, we sell retail at Poets. And so, I would buy products at 60%, sell them, make 40%. And so in my mind, I was like, well, what if I started creating my own merchandise so that I could, maybe it cost me 20% or 30%, and then I could make a lot more than, just buying someone else's products and trying to resell them. And so I'd always started to do that. So Tennessee Outfitters was my first idea. And because of Young Life, I designed t-shirts and things like that. And so I kind of knew somewhat how to do that. And so, it was, I love being from Tennessee, and I loved being able to move back to Tennessee. And so the Tennessee Outfitters was just kind of a fun idea, just to kind of celebrate Tennessee and to have just a lifestyle brand. There was a few people doing that at the time, but I'm like, maybe mine could be a little more rustic, a little more outdoorsy and stuff like that. And so I just kind of started creating some hats and some shirts for Poets, to sell on Poets alongside of my Poets t-shirts and things like that. And it just kind of started getting traction, and I would order some and it'd all sell out, and I'd try a different design and they'd sell out. And so that business just kind of started growing over time, and we created a website, and then, started doing wholesale. And so, that was just a fun thing. And, obviously I've refined how I do it. And early on, it was just kind of sticking patches on hats, that a Richardson hat, or, hats that everyone gets. And so over time, I've been able to partner with folks and create hats from the ground up. So I'll create my own camo designs, and anything on the hat I can do, custom taping, all that kind of stuff. And so over time, those became more and more unique. And so I think that kind of helped with the popularity of, oh, this is not just a hat I've seen 100 times with a patch on it. I can't get this anywhere else. So that's kind of helped with that. And so I really enjoy the design part of that, and so it's just kind of been a fun business that kind of continued to grow. It's not just out of control thing. I still kind of operate that in house, so that's how that happened. And then the stickers, I was doing poet stickers and things like this, and the first sticker we ever did, my manager was working, and a couple of his buddies came in. He said, "Sup, y'all," and I was like, "Sup, y'all? That would be a really funny sticker." Like who wouldn't want to. And so I was like, I don't do. That's funny. What if I put like Southern? We're in Tennessee. What if I put Southern phrases on stickers? And a friend of mine, Chris, out of Franklin, he kind of we were kind of doing Tennessee Outfitters because Good Southern kind of came out of Tennessee Outfitters. I was doing Tennessee-based stickers, and so I was like, "Hey, I think I want to try some of these fun stickers like Sup Y'all and Bless Your Heart." And then I started selling them at Poets, and it's like, they just kept selling out. And I was like, I think we have something with the sticker thing. And he was like, this is a stupid idea. Like, you're just going to put Southern phrases on stickers. I was like, I don't know. They keep selling. So we just kind of kept doing it, thinking it was just going to be kind of a retail business. And then I think just kind of got traction, started blowing up out of nowhere. And people just kind of love the idea. We put them on really high quality stickers, go through the dishwasher, bumper stickers and stuff like that. And so we just kind of kept doing it, and we never really advertised for that, but we were kind of maybe early in that idea of Southern phrases on stickers. And so, we picked up Dollywood and Moon Pie, and just kind of pioneer one of these brands that were like, really love the idea of it. And Loveless Cafe was one of our first clients. And so that thing just kind of grew and exploded. And so, yeah, for the past few years, that thing has just been a behemoth. We're in over 2,500 stores across the country, and even stores in California and Canada. Like, it's the South almost is kind of a brand in and of itself, and people want to visit the South and things like that. And some of our stickers aren't necessarily Southern. You can put y'all behind anything and it becomes Southern.
Jeremy, you're just tripping your way through success. I love these stories. These are always the best success stories when just one thing leads to another. And as you are going, I've found out your customers tell you what they want. You can assume what they want, and you can try to give them what you think they want, but they will tell you what they want.
Yeah.
So I think I know the answer to this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We like to end each interview with the same question. What is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
They let me put a business on their campus.
Fantastic answer.
No, I mean, I have great memories of going to school there, and being a biology major, and for me being over there in the Pennebaker Hall and doing all those things. Really fun memories. Some really hard classes. Systematic botany, which no longer exists, was the vein of my existence there for a while. But I got through it. And so lots of fun memories. I was also involved in Young Life in college, so that was an awesome community for me to be a part of. And we spent a lot of time on campus, running around, having fun, playing frisbee golf. We had a made up frisbee golf course, and we played intramurals and all those kinds of things. And so Tech for me was just like, for me, it was the perfect university that I could have gone to. At the time, I didn't know what I was going to do, but it was a perfect fit for a community, and it allowed me to kind of explore a few things to figure out what am I going to do in life. And so for me, it was a great college experience, and obviously now being able to come back and it becoming full circle and kind of it's changed a little bit since 2005. But even along the way, I mean, as we moved back, we've gone to basketball games, and we've been members at the Fit. We go over there and take the kids and hit up the climbing wall. So we've kind of been around Tech the whole time. But to be able to be there and have a business and partner with them, and I think it's such a great partnership with Cookeville and with Tech to kind of. I think it's a beautiful kind of connection of the community of Cookeville and Tech kind of merging and coming together. I think it's a great feel, and we've worked really hard for now to keep even pricing the same on campus as it is off campus. So kids aren't surprised when they go off campus, because we're not open on the weekends, and so they can get the same experience there that they get at other locations and things like that. And so So yeah, it's really fun. I mean, doing it all, I told my wife, I was like, maybe I should just do the college thing. These freestanding ones are a lot more work than this is. But once again, it's been a great. I think for a third location, I couldn't imagine a better setup. And so yes, I'm thankful for Chartwell's, thankful for Tech, and the partnership and allowing me to think, because they took a risk on me. They didn't know how I was going to go. They could have stuck another national chain in there, that would have been fine. And so them willing to take a risk on me and on the brand I don't take that lightly. And I'm thankful that they did. And I'm so thankful that it worked out and that it's been what it is.
Jeremy, thank you so much. What a fun interview today. We appreciate you taking time to be our guest on College Town Talk.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. That was fun. And yeah, we'll see y'all at a coffee location, but at Poets Coffee sometime soon.
Absolutely.
And for our listeners, you can find hours and addresses for all 3 Poets Coffee locations at poetscookville.com. Welcome back to College Town Talk. Our next guest is one of the reasons that Cookeville gets its reputation as an arts town. She has been part of the Tennessee Tech University community for more than 20 years, and she is profiled in the latest issue of Cookeville Lifestyle magazine. We are so excited to welcome Professor Kimberly Winkle to the program, the director of Tennessee Tech's School of Art, Craft, and Design, and director of its Appalachian Center for Craft located in Smithville. Professor Winkle, welcome to College Town Talk.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we've got a lot we want to ask you about, but let's start with the Appalachian Center for Craft, just because, it's a really unique part of Tennessee Tech that I'm thinking some of our listeners may not necessarily know about. You kind of have to be looking for it. You don't really just stumble upon it. It's a satellite campus in Smithville. So for the uninitiated, give us the lowdown on the Craft Center, or the ACC as we sometimes call it, and all the exciting things that happen there.
Oh my gosh, it is such a special place. The Craft Center has been part of Tech since the 1980s, which some people may not be aware of. We are located about 5 miles south of I-40 off of exit 273. We're on 500 acres of Army Corps engineer land. We are perched on top of a hilltop where we overlook Center Hill Lake. And there we have 87,000 square feet of facilities, all dedicated to craft and craft education. So in addition to our degree programs, which we offer a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in glass, metals, ceramics, fibers, and wood, we also offer a Bachelor of Science degree in a Studio Arts, which is a more liberal arts-based degree. And in addition to that, we have robust and comprehensive community programs. So we offer during the summer, week-long and weekend workshops for adults in our community and also from afar. We have people that come from all across the country to engage in our well-equipped, spacious studios at the Craft Center. And we also have a robust outreach program. So on Fridays during the school year, we partner with regional school systems and homeschool systems, and high school students come and have an engaging, meaningful, hands-on experience in our studios. We also have kids programming. This is a new program that's led by our program manager, Ashley Lashetto. And once a month, we have a family kids day, and it is on a Saturday. We invite everybody from the public to come and engage in this free hands-on activities for students. We think engaging people, young people, is really important to the longevity of the art. So it's an amazing place. Oh, I forgot to mention, we also have wonderful exhibition galleries. We have a retail gallery where people can purchase. It's a perfect place to find a gift, a unique gift for a friend or a loved one, all made by regional artists, most of whom have an affiliation with the Craft Center. And we also have exhibition galleries. So we think it's a way to provide our regional community with really high quality, vetted art exhibition. So we invite people to come. It is such a special place.
Well, Professor Winkle, you cannot even say enough to explain how beautiful it is. Now, you mentioned the 500 acres, but just for our listeners who have never been there, there is a long, beautiful, winding drive to get to the Craft Center. And just the drive opens up your mind and your emotions toward just that inner artist inside all of us, that creative outlet. And I just, I have been a big proponent of supporting the Art Center for a long time, and I've taken several of the community classes. And I will tell you, no matter what artist in resident is there or whoever's running the classes, and I've done this over the course of many years, they're always so wonderful, amazingly talented, and you're in such a space of peace and tranquility. You literally feel like you're getting away from it all and going to a completely different world. Now, I know that the Appalachian Center for Craft is always busy with great events and programming for the community, but I want to talk about one of your biggest events of the year, which is right around the corner. Now, the 27th annual Celebration of Craft is coming up on Saturday, April 5th. And this is a really, really fun way that you guys get people interested in the arts or just rekindle that love to the community with live music. You've got food trucks, free activities for the whole family. My mother always brings um, all the grandkids out and looks forward to that every single year. What can guests who have never been there look forward to at this year's event?
Well, they can look forward to having a great time at this year's event, which is true for all of our celebration of craft events. It is a family-friendly event. It is free and open to the public. We are so excited to be able to provide free kids craft activities. So we have something from all age groups, from the littles to something a little bit older. We have live music. We've partnered with a nonprofit organization based in Nashville, which focuses on global music, so that we'll have dance troupes, live music. We'll also have food trucks. I think we're having snow cones, is one of the things that's going to be there. So that's always a popular item for kids. We're going to have kettle corn, of course. Can't have a celebration without that. And we're also going to have live demonstrations in all of our studios. So we have these amazingly spacious and well-equipped studios that the general public doesn't always get to see firsthand. And so on Celebration, we open it up to the public so they can come in and get a firsthand look at what we do, as well as learn about some of the techniques that our students are learning about and that they employ when they leave our program and become practitioners of art. So come and expect to have a wonderful time engaging in all of the activities, the food, as well as the discounts that are offered in our gallery. So on Celebration, we will be offering special discounts in our sales gallery. So if you're looking to get that perfect gift, we know Mother's Day is coming up. That could be a perfect opportunity to get something unique and handmade and one of a kind.
Professor Winkle, your artistry has drawn national and international recognition over the years. You've been awarded multiple artist residencies. You've won the State of Tennessee's Individual Artist Award, Tennessee Tech's General Outstanding Education Teaching Award, and the College of Education's 2015 Excellence in Teaching Award. The list goes on. But I am holding your latest recognition right here in my hand. You and nearly 24 local artists are each profiled in the latest issue of Cookeville Lifestyle magazine. And there's a great story about you in the magazine. Our Tennessee Tech alumnus, friend of the program, Andrew Buckner, wrote it. And I just want to read one of the last lines. He says, "Kim's excitement for her work and care for those who make beautiful art through the various programs at TTU is palpable. An entire magazine edition could be dedicated to her career, her talent, and her influence." So what did it mean to you to see that kind of recognition for your work, and also to see the spotlight put on so many of the great local artists here in our community?
Oh, it means so much. Mostly, the thing that means the most to me is just seeing the impact of our program on the lives of these artists and also how it impacts our regional community, both in terms of contributing significantly to the art and craft ecosystem of our region, but also the financial ecosystem in our region. Our artists, our alumni, many who are featured in this magazine are going on and leading really special and impactful lives and careers in the arts. So to be able to see them get that recognition that they deserve, all of the time and energy and passion that they put into their work, to see it celebrated in this way is so special, and that means the most to me about this issue.
Well, Professor Winkle, in that issue of Cookville Lifestyle, you also talked in the story about a Tennessee Tech School of Art, Craft, and Design alumnus who touched a lot of lives before his untimely passing. And this broke my heart. Jesse Filateo. I understand that there has now been a scholarship established at the university in his memory. Can you share with us a little more about Jesse's impact on the art program at Tech and how you've ensured that his legacy lives on?
Jesse was a remarkable young man, and all of us in the School of Art, Craft, and Design, and just the arts community here in our region, were just devastated by his passing. I had the good fortune of having Jesse in a couple of classes, and he was a remarkable young man. He was so mature for his age and just a principled, generous, kind man. And we are so fortunate that and humbled that we're able to continue Jesse's legacy through the creation of the scholarship in his name. So we've been working with his family, specifically his mom, Mrs. Gina Filateo, to create an endowed scholarship. And we're not quite at the endowed level yet, but we are able to award the very first inaugural Jesse Filateo scholarship. We have just reviewed the applications, and so it will go towards a student this coming year. And in the meantime, we're working together with Jesse's family and our local community to try to continue to raise the funds for that endowed scholarship. And what that means is that those of us who are here now and we remember Jesse, we love Jesse, we're not going to be here forever, but Jesse's scholarship will be. So once it's an endowed scholarship, his scholarship will last into perpetuity. And it's so heartwarming to know that Jesse's legacy is going to live on in that way. And I know that it would mean a lot to him to know that his name, his scholarship is going to be able to help those that come for generations to come in our program.
Well, I love that tribute, and I want to shout out also Kelly Chambers in University Advancement, who wrote a really great story about Jesse and the scholarship, and it just he kind of comes alive right off the page when you read the story that she put together about him and the wonderful tributes from people at Tech and people in the community. But finally, Professor Winkle, we like to end each interview with the same question, and that is, what is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
Well, that's a really hard question because you're asking me to list only one way. There's numerous ways. I will say I came to Tennessee Tech on August 15th, 2002, planning to be here for 1 year. And as you see, a little bit of time has passed since then. And what has kept me here is the community, the opportunities it has provided me. And for me, from a very deep, genuine level, arts education is so important, especially today. I think for our students to have a safe place to come, to express themselves, to learn how to make things with their hands with a purpose and intention, it is such a privilege. And I think that that privilege and the reward is expressed in this issue of Cookville Lifestyles, seeing our community, seeing former faculty, seeing the alumni in our from our program in our community really making a difference. So those are the reasons why and the reasons or the various ways in which Tennessee has positively impacted my life. I consider this a real privilege and an honor to be in this program, and I'm grateful for it every day.
Well, I think a lot of people at the university are grateful for your being here as well. Professor Winkle, thank you so much for being our guest on College Town Talk.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful opportunity. I appreciate it.
And for our listeners, you can find Tennessee Tech's Appalachian Center for Craft at 1560 Craft Center Drive in Smithfield. Their gallery is open Monday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. We want to thank Jeremy Crabtree and Professor Kimberly Winkle for being our guests today on College Town Talk.
I don't know about you, Shan, but now I just want to look at art and drink coffee.
That sounds like the best day. Between Poets Coffee and Appalachian Center for Craft, you won't have a hard time finding places to do either. But maybe you should make yours a decaf.
You're probably right. Before we go, thanks to all of you for listening. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and share this podcast with a friend. It all helps to spread the word about the great things happening right here in Cookeville.
And friends, we'll meet you right back here again next time for more conversations with the people who make Cookeville Tennessee's college town.
College Town Talk is presented by Tennessee Tech University in partnership with the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau. Your hosts are Jonathan Frank and Shan Stout, and original music is performed by Andrew Buckner. Visit us online at tntech.edu/collegetowntalk.